as you guys know, I am Nick. This is Real Coverage. This is where you come for press conference breakdowns with coaches and everybody else. This one goes to Dave Canales, going for that three-peat of A pluses right here. Let's go.
Hey, I thought it was all over.
Nope.
They roll coverage. Another great day, back and forth. The competition is what we want to see. We want to see the energy. It was a lively deal. We pushed it to the edge. Guys were getting really chippy, and we just kind of asked them, play at that edge. Let's not step over. Let's protect our team. Let's be great teammates first. And the guys handled it and responded well. And I think the coolest part was, as I think about the spring, and just where we started from an operational standpoint, spent time talking about that yesterday. For us to be able to get into a full speed 2-minute drill, we had an end of half, and then we had an end of game situation right there. Getting the calls in and out, playing within the time clock. Love to see the execution a little bit better. We had a couple of drops, but the ball moved. The defense had some great stops within those periods as well. But it was just good reps for Ajero and I just to use our timeouts, take a look at the situation, where we at on the field. But I think, I think really it's just celebrating the players and the way that they've locked in and focused this spring and have taken to the teaching, the principles of what we're looking for. Another thing I was really excited about this spring is the focus of the defense on attacking the football. That's been great. We talked about the turnover drills that our defense reps, and to see it come alive in the team settings where we can't tackle right now, but you see the mentality. You see guys getting ready to punch the ball. You see guys ripping at it when the running backs are coming through the line, and how that's trained our offense, because our running backs have had to wrap it up with two hands every run because the defense is striking at it. The receivers have had to transition quickly because of the same thing. And then, of course, just always harping on the quarterbacks. Play it like it's live, move, get the ball out of your hands, take off and run when you can, so you get that full game-like feel from these reps as much as we can right now. So the attention and focus on the football was fantastic. All of those things, all the things, capturing our effort, the standard of work. We talked about that just with some of the veteran players that we have. Guys that stand out, just talking about Derek Brown on defense, coming to work every day, just killing it in the drills, getting after it, really pushing himself, especially when he's tired. Coach Rush doing an incredible job with the rush group and the different stunts and things they're working on. And then on offense, I can't talk about effort without talking about Chuba Hubbard and Tommy Tremble, two guys who really push each other to get their work in, to work on the small things, taking care of their bodies, the effort that we're looking for in practice.
Take care of your body take care of you.
These guys are at the front of what we're talking about, trying to push the tempo, trying to make sure that the defense can feel the attacking style that we have. These are guys that have really stood out for me this spring as leaders in that regard. And so I feel great about, as the whole group looks at that and sees these guys who are depending on working hard, it sends a message to the whole group. This is who we are. This is how we practice, and this is how we finish. So I'm really excited about where we're at today, knowing that we can come into training camp, and I know it'll take a day or two to kind of get the rhythm going, but to just get right back to that style, the pace of play, and the communication that we ended today with.
First of all, holy geesh, that was a long one. Normally, Dave doesn't start off with such a long-winded response. Normally it's only about a minute and a half. This one is almost 3.5 minutes. He obviously had some points that he wanted to hit on. He wanted to praise Derek Brown. He wanted to praise Tommy Tremble. And of course, he wanted to praise Chuba Hubbard. The offense is going to be in an interesting path moving forwards. Obviously, we're going to see an uptick in the offense. The pass rush is going to suffer. But at the same time, I think that weird, the reports we keep hearing is that Josie Jewell got an interception on Bryce Young. I believe it was in the red zone. That's what we're going to have to do. That middle linebacker or the linebacker core and all those guys, pass rush, might end up having to be more pass coverage, and we might end up having to feast on those right in the center of the field interceptions in a way that mitigates the absence of a pass rush, because that's kind of where we're at right now, especially with the cluster injuries and everything like that. So that's going to be something moving into the regular season that we're going to have to watch. And then obviously we have a glaring hole in the secondary. Most people think it is going to be filled with Gilmore, but that hasn't been confirmed. Though from what I understand, people are trying to get him to come to Carolina. So
30,000-foot view, you kind of walked in here in the spring meeting new people for the first time. Are there areas or things you've learned about this team in the last 3 months that may have exceeded the expectations you had walking in?
Yeah, I think, again, I come into it thinking, am I going to have to set the culture and the environment for every area of this? And I was ready to, and I was just watching.
Yes, to be honest. Especially if you're going to be a long-term coach, you have to do that, my guy. We need you to be that and more. And on top of that, not only we need you to be that and more, I also need you to set the precedent moving forwards. Not just for our quarterback now, but maybe for a backup quarterback that we're going to get. Excuse me. Maybe for a backup running back down the road that we're going to get. If you're going to be with this team forever, I need you to build the culture for the quarterback, for the coaching staff, for everybody in that building. So the answer to that question is yes, Dave. Yes.
And just trying to see where I can, inject energy or focus or work into these different areas. And what I came into was a group that already knows how to work, a group that knows how to create a great locker room environment. You hear them, they're in there talking, the music's going, there's just a great energy in there. When they get into the weight room, how serious they take that, and the guys utilizing the athletic training room to their benefit. So a lot of these things that you want and expect from a pro team, these guys have that, and they have that standard already set. And I'm just like, great, let's keep doing this, and really pointing the newer guys that just showed up to us to look at what these other guys are doing. If you don't have a plan, guys, just copy one of theirs. They have a great idea about what they want to do. So that they really exceeded, my expectations. I was open to see what it was, but it was fantastic for me to see that culture.
I guess I can see it.
Pretty awesome. Again, it's got to be developed from the ground level all the way on high. So obviously we need to get some owner buy-in and everything like that. I think the big barometer of where Dave is going to be next year or year 3 or wherever is the first, say, 4 games this year. We ended with a 2-2 split. Okay, this could be something productive. But if we end up with like a 1-3 or no wins over those first 4 games, I think we could be in for a world of hurt, and so could Dave, of course, as well, knowing how Tepper is very quick on the trigger. So I just need Dave to roll out a solid offense and a defense that doesn't get us gouged. We need to be in games and give Bryce Young the ability to win those games. That's it. Just put him in position. Let him do the rest.
That you spent this offseason building the pieces together with the existing roster, the free agents, now the draft. What has it been like over the past 2 days to finally see it all come together on the field and in the building?
It's exciting. It's really exciting. Just to know, again, what's my expectation? That we can play good football. That's my expectation. Without talking about anything else, we're not talking about wins and losses. Can we just play good football? Can we do right for 60 minutes or longer, whatever it takes? And can we execute? Can we execute the fundamental parts of our offense and our defense and special teams? That's my high hope, and what I see is a group that's trending towards that to put good football out there. Were we perfect today? Absolutely not. There's still some things. There's little tweaks. We got to learn each other. Chemistry with the quarterback and the receivers, tight ends, running backs. The communication with the offensive line, defensively, of course, just all the communication that happens with the shifts and motions that we try to throw at them and challenge them with. So, are we perfect? No, but I see us trending towards a team that's going to be able to play good football, and that's all I can hope for. And I'm proud. I'll be proud of that part. So hopefully we can, keep building on that in training camp.
Is good football good enough? That's going to be the title of this video. So if you've gotten this far, you have now gotten to the point where I decided what the title is. Is good football good enough? I don't think so. Now, if good football turns into 6 wins, Absolutely. You got me. Hook, line, and sinker. But yeah, man, that's going to be a tall order this year, especially with the way the division is turning out. Falcons, the Bucks feel like they took a step back, but I feel like that step back is still a step ahead of the Panthers. And then obviously the Saints are going to do something. I don't know what they're going to do with Derek Carr, but I don't have a whole lot of belief in him. But that's for her whole separate video. Good football is great. I need wins.
I need this win.
I need wins. That's great if it looks beautiful on tape. But I need some W's in the column, man. Give me some of those.
If you talked about wanting competition in every position,
Yeah.
understanding that, but are there a couple positions in mind that you're really kind of looking forward to tracking at camp?
Shoot, I mean, I can't speak about one position without speaking about all of them, Joe. Honestly, I think what I love is start with the offense.
Head coach speak, of course. Head coach speak, but let him do his thing.
I love the versatility and the players that we have in the tight end room. I think that we have a really strong group there. And so I see a group that they're all going to be pushing to see who those guys are. This thing is, and Ian had a fantastic spring. Jatavian showed that he can play football while he's still learning stuff about our offense. He wants to know. He's focused and locked in. Stephon Sullivan is just the talent that he brings, how he can stretch the field, the length that he plays with, and even a guy like Jordan Matthews who understands how critical special teams is, for him to show that he can be a reliable player there, and then to do some things on offense too that we like. So it's a really strong group. Talk about the running back room. There's a lot of really good players in that group, and so being able to come into camp and knowing that we're going to run the ball a lot, especially in camp as we start to learn who we are in our system, to see that competition play itself out, is exciting, And then I think, at the receiver position, we have a bunch of guys that have been here for a while that are so hungry. You talk about, of course, Thielen was here, but then Terrace Marshall, who's had a fantastic last couple of weeks. Michael Strawn got back out there, and he's big and fast, just showing what he can do there. Amir Smith-Marset makes a great play every day. Of course, having Deontay out there, he brings another element. He's special. He knows how to play the game. He's fast. He gets it. He's a change of pace, and a little bit different than the guys that we have. And so, I mentioned Thielen already. Who'd I miss? Xavier. We got to get him back out there so we can work him through.
Yeah, because if you don't remember, he's been kind of dealing with a little bit of like a strain injury thing that they're kind of sidelining him for right now, knowing that we don't need him for a game next week. I like siding on the, the side of caution. But at the same time, I'm really hoping this isn't going to be a recurring injury for him. Just something to kind of keep in the back of your head.
That's way back there.
But another good solid group of guys, that are executing what we want them to. So I'm excited about the competition in that room as well. And on the defensive side, we brought in so many guys that have had familiarity with this system, and so that's been really great to just see guys like Jordan Fuller, Nick Scott, Josie Jewell, who come in with that experience. Ashawn Robinson's been in the system, so those guys just really adding a strength in terms of experience and understanding of what we're doing to the group. So hopefully that answers that, and I can talk about the whole team. But
I think it's a strength to have strengths all around on the team, but obviously some people are going to get lost in the shuffle. Obviously, I think in the running back room is probably going to be Blackshear. Sanders' contract is too much for us to just kind of like let him sit there. So it will be Sanders and Chuba, running back 1-2 to start probably. And then whenever Jonathan Brooks can get in there, he's either going to replace Sanders as one, and Sanders, gets traded, or we cut him, or however that's going to work, because most people think he is on the way out. And then obviously Hubbard stays at the running back too. I could obviously see a scenario where we get rid of Sanders early on, after he's healthy, get him out there, show teams that he's going to be really good, trade him at the trading deadline, have Chuba Hubbard take over the rest of the season, and then really have Jonathan Brooks breakout season be next year, where he's running back one, fully healed, with still some games played, but not a full season given to him. So I think that could maybe be a little bit of it. But specifically the wide receiver, tight end, and running back room, I like that it's diverse, because from what we understand, and from what Dave has said previously, if you've checked out our other videos where we do press conference breakdowns on the regular, he has said that he doesn't need them to be good blockers. He just needs them to assist in the run game. So that could be a really interesting one, where we could see more of what previous Panthers head coach Frank Reich wanted to do, where we end up getting Xavier more of a Debo style catch in the back, some kind of swing pass or something like that. And then we have a bunch of wide receiver, tight end, running back combos out there that can throw up blocks and everything like that. And you could sub guys in and out. So I think that could be an interesting one as well. Obviously that would open up the play action. So I kind of see where that would greatly benefit Bryce. But again, that offensive line is going to have to be cohesive, and that's going to be a big question mark. So again, I need to see it first. Show it to me game one. Again, hook, line, and sinker, you got me.
Quarterback position, especially during these kind of early days of formulating a system, where do you fall in line with balancing improvisation with, obviously planned play calls for the quarterback position?
Yeah, my encouragement for them is to just play it like a game. So what happens in the game? Sometimes the guard gets beat and you got to play ball. Sometimes the pressure is a little bit loose and you got to move. And so I'm always asking them not to expect that you're going to have this perfect pocket. We need to play on time and fast. And if you throw it to the first guy that's open, go to the second guy. And after that, you better be moving at some point, because at that point, you can only ask the O-line to block for so long, So I really just ask them to play it live. And if it gets you flushed, take off and run. And Bryce each week got better and better at playing that game. There's a time to throw it away, right? But there's also a time to extend the play, because those end up being explosive plays. And for sure in the red zone, those plays extend, and that's where 70% of your touchdown passes in the red zone happen on scramble. That's league wide. That's not just specific to our system or anything. So just wanting them, because what ends up doing, it trains two things. It trains the skill players to keep playing. You ran your first route, here goes the second route. It requires effort and conditioning. It also requires of the secondary to plaster. We talk about plaster, that means match the guy in your area and stick to him and follow that guy to the end of the play. So it trains everybody when we extend the play. So I like it when it happens. I like it more when the ball comes out on time and we have great protection for sure, but we got to practice for the game.
Totally fair. No critiques. 10 out of 10.
Timing, ball release in this phase, or is it something that you guys are going to focus more on in training camp?
We have been, and we will continue to ramp up the urgency on that timing. I think right now, we've given a little bit of margin for let's learn what these words mean. Let's learn what this formation looks like and where to line up. And that's the focus that I really wanted to come out of the spring with. And as we get back into camp, yes, and we'll put it up on the video screen so they can see it for practice. The defense will know it too, and they'll be yelling out sack, if it goes too long, a little bit beyond the play. But yeah, that's something that will definitely be, really critical on.
Following up on the turnovers, problems they had creating turnovers last year.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the drills that you've been putting out? Is you going to continue that?
I keep saying it. Somebody needs to get Dave something for his lips. He needs water, something. Keep saying it. I don't care. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. He's got a vitamin deficiency. Somebody needs to help him. Help Dave.
Emphasis during training camp and
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And during the season, we'll dedicate a whole day to it, and we'll teach great examples in team settings. We'll continue to drill those things so that it's in their mind and they have the muscle memory to arrive at the ball with the mentality to take it away. And then, of course, just for the defensive guys especially, just getting those reps. But if you watch our defensive individual, they start off their drills, and every time they finish a drill, they're catching a ball. So the emphasis is taking advantage of the opportunities to intercept the ball when it comes to you, but then also creating those fumbles and those turnovers. When we do our pass rush drills, they finish on a bag that simulates a quarterback's arm to get the ball out every time. So just continue to heighten their awareness for the ball.
Like that. Like I said before, I think the focus of the defense is going to be intercepting the ball, pass breakups, and stuff like that. That's where we're really going to have to make our money, basically.
Show me the money.
I don't think the pass rush and getting sacks is going to be our gig. We might end up getting lucky and being one of those, sneaky good sack teams, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm definitely going to favor us in probably the bottom 7 when it comes to sacks. But when it comes to pass breakups and everything like that, I think that could be beneficial to this defense and really give them a morale boost as the games go on.
Expectation of players during this break between end of minicamp and start of training camp.
Yeah, my expectation is for them to take a little bit of time off. They've earned that. They've worked really hard. It's been a long time now that they've been here working and training in the weight room and on the field. And so I think it's really important that they do take that time earlier in the summer to be able to relax, to be able to let their body recover. There's a mileage component to this whole thing, and so I expect that, and then I expect them to take advantage of these weeks to really get the sprint work that they need in for the expectations. We'll have a great presentation for them about just suggestions for how to structure, because they're on their own. So they're going to go to their trainers, they're going to go to the places they feel comfortable, but just giving them some suggestions on the flow of how to take care of your body so that there's a climb to training camp, but there's a measure of, there is overwork as well, right? There's underworking for the camp, and then there's also a measure of that. So just encouraging them to make sure that they are responsible with that time.
Did you get an update on DJ Johnson, and are there any guys that won't be available at the start?
I didn't get the specific report on DJ, so I'd have to get back to you all on that. But I did know it was good. It was not anything that was really serious. So it was just something that moved weird, and I think he's had a little bit of issues in his past, So I think it was just kind of a measure of, he felt something. Let's be cautious about it. So.
That makes me happy. Obviously, again, those cluster injuries in the pass rush and defense specifically. So it's just something that we really need to watch going into the season. Obviously, the reporters are going to be on point, so thank you guys for being there. Thank you for all the questions you guys do and everything you do for us and give us all this great content. So thank you to the reporters and to Dave and to everybody involved, as always.
Thank you for what you're doing.
I think DJ Wanham's got a ways to go to just continue to progress, and Jonathan Brooks has a little bit of ways to go, so we'll kind of progress them into camp. Eku Leota, again, we expect him to be ready for camp, but again, guys that are coming in with soft tissue things, we just have to be smart about ramping them up as we go.
We got to see a couple more. We've gotten to see the chemistry between Dion.
Interesting. Real quick, I don't normally go back because, you've seen this a million times. You've probably seen them a million times at a press conference, but watch after he answers. I'm going to try and pause it at the perfect time.
Ramping them up as we go.
There's that, and then he does this big gulp like he's trying to keep something in. Like that face? What's going on, Dave? Are you okay? There might be something a little bit more that he's not telling us, or maybe just not divulging at this time, which is totally understandable. All the teams do it. Joe Burrow famously had the little hand thing, and people were questioning that. Why wasn't he on the injury report? Which, speaking of, didn't Bryce just have something on his hand? Regardless, it's just interesting. He normally doesn't it seemed like in that moment he was trying to swallow that question away. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm looking too much into this.
Chemistry between Deontay and Bryce the last couple of days. What have you noticed, given your background in quarterbacks and wide receivers, that they've done to kind of...
Look at that. Big, huge breath out. Let the shoulders down. Moved on from that question. Moving on to Bryce. Interesting.
Enhance that kind of bond, I guess, on the field?
Yeah, just looking for the opportunities that come to you so that we're making sure we're not forcing the ball in any situation, but when the opportunities come, Bryce definitely wants to take advantage of those to throw it to Deontay. What I've seen is Bryce is learning, even just in a short time, that Deontay's going to make the right football decision on these plays. And he's a guy that just finds open space. And again, one-on-one, he's got some really good stuff at the line on releases and separating at the top of his route. So just learning that he's a special mover. He controls his body in such a great way, how quickly he comes off the line, how he bursts into routes, and how he separates. He does cover a lot of ground. He's got a lot of power in his hips. So Bryce was able to kind of see that and start to factor in where he throws the ball to Deontay. But it was really good to see them, kind of working on that.
That's an interesting one because, again, if you checked out my last Dave Canales video, I put in the information about Deontay Johnson saying that he was very intrigued by the new wide receiver payouts and was expecting that and really looking forward to this year. So if Deontay Johnson ends up coming out and being a top 10 receiver, he's going to want top 10 receiver money. And the Panthers aren't giving that to him. He's going to have to go get that shit someplace else. We ain't giving it to him. I guarantee you that. And if we do, I don't know what the hell we're doing paying a receiver when we just got supposed to be a number one in Xavier and all this. It's just going to be a real interesting one. If Deontay ends up popping, we're going to have to pop open the checkbook. And I don't know if Tepper wants to do that, to be honest.
In these last few weeks, has there been a player that you've noticed that has been the first to be out on the field, or in the flip side?
No, good.
Has there been a player that's been the last to be out on the field at the end of practice?
There's a couple of guys. I think guys like that I always see out there. I talked about Chuba and Tommy. They're always out there working. Jordan Matthews is always out there working. DiCaprio Boodle, he's out there catching balls. He knows he's going to get opportunities, for interceptions. JC will be out there catching off of jugs. Jordan Fuller, Nick Scott. I can't think of everybody, but there's a good group of guys that kind of just, finish up with, whether it's jugs work, whether it's footwork things, or different things like that, So it's a good group of workers.
Seems to be a big thing for Dave, putting in the extra effort, the hard work. I'm just hoping that hard work is hard work that translates into on-the-field success. Because it's great that guys are hard workers, but if it doesn't translate into success, you could be the hardest workers in the world. Obviously, we've got guys that have won at different levels, but it's really interesting to see the guys that are going to put foot to pavement this year. So that's going to be a great one for Panthers fans to watch.
Last one. Dave, the changes to the interior of the offensive line, is that something you're able to see now, or is that more of a training, it's going to kind of come to life?
Oh, no, you can see it now. Yeah, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, Corbett in the middle right there. It's a very stout group inside. Really guard to guard right there. And so I can feel just the momentum that happens in the run game. I can feel that when they sit and anchor in their pass pros, there's great space in that interior of their pocket. So those are the things we were hoping for with bringing them in, and it showed up, throughout the spring, even in the setting that we're playing in now. Thanks, Coach. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm so excited! Ow!
No, I want to say thank you to Dave. Thank you to the Carolina Panthers for all of this. I'm going to be honest. Everything was fine.
It was just fine.
It was a great press conference. Was it a pop-off and he was giving us some cool information? No. The apprehensiveness, takes me back a little bit with how open and everything he has been in the past. So I can't give him an A+ for this one. I'm sorry. No three-peat of A+. This one I'm going to give him an A-. I know, so sad. But there's just something there. It's going to take time for it maybe to come out, but there's something there. I'm just not sure what it is. Maybe the reporters are doing some digging into a place that the Carolina Panthers aren't ready to maybe discuss. I'm not sure, but what's your thoughts? Put them in the comments below. And if you like more stuff, more press conference breakdowns, more reactions, more football news in general, as the season starts, I will also be putting out injury reports before games. So check out for that. My name is Nick. This is World Coverage. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Otherwise, have a great day. Peace.